The exhibition Darkness Ascends was my intention that the other half of the exhibition would be the outside world, outside the gallery walls. It was an exhibition on darkness, personal darknesses, global darknesses, the age of darkness and anxiety that we live in. And inside the gallery we tried to create a kind of sort of a dark and oppressive atmosphere through the music, first of all, of Sun O. Also the videos that we're playing, we didn't put headphones, so there was, the sound was very heavy and a heavy atmosphere. Some of the walls were painted black, some were painted blood red, so the atmosphere became very heavy and somewhat oppressive. And it occurred to me during the setting up that exhibition that it being on in the middle of the summer, that you come in and out of the space from the sunlight to this sort of dark, oppressive environment, and then when you leave, you go back out into the sunlight, the light, the world we live in. So in a sense, the exhibition to me was supposed to feel like kind of a yin-yang, the yin-yang symbol, the dark and the light making up the whole. Even if we do think we live in dark times, I think darkness is something that's always is part of the human condition, and if these times are more seriously dark than others, I'm not sure about that. But I think darkness and light or revelation or potential for good is just embedded in the human experience. So a whole human experience is made up of, say, 50% dark, 50% light, 50% good, 50% evil. That is the human experience. Even though there is the human impulse or will to utopia, to want the world to be a perfectly pleasant place to be. So visitors to the show come through the light, pass through the door into the darkness, and then out of the darkness and back into the light again. So it was supposed to set up that dynamic or that polemic between dark worlds and light worlds, and what is the potential of the world we live in. To me, it's just impossible for the world to be a completely good and perfect place. It is completely impossible for each of us humans to be perfectly good people. That to me, it may be a worthy will to want to make everything good, but I think that there's something wrong with that. Of course, you can refer to certain, I don't know, movies, or, like say the Frankenstein syndrome, where there was an attempt to make the perfect human being, but even that attempt got out of hand. So to me, even the will to utopia and perfection, I consider to be dark and negative aspect of the human being. I think it is a positive thing for us to embrace the darkness that is an aspect of our beings. If you think of the world we live in today, and certain religious and political doctrines, these people have an ideal that they're striving for, and to achieve that ideal, in order to achieve that ideal, they need to oppress and eliminate others that do not share that ideal. So in those people's attempt to perfection is a very evil darkness. I think they see their music in terms of legitimate human expression as art, if you will, as opposed to part of the pop music industry. I mean, clearly that kind of music is, although interestingly and ironically, their last album was quite successful. But I did read a review of their album in Art Forum magazine of all places, and so a frequent reader of Art Forum that I am, I cannot recall the last time a sort of a dark or doom metal band received a full review in Art Forum magazine. I mean, the same thing when we got Flo Mounier
right.
from Cryptopsy the year previous to include a video of his drum solo in the exhibition. Demon Stole My Soul, the rock and roll drum in contemporary art. Camilla, who curated that show, went on to the Cryptopsy website and just sent an email to, who knows, their management company, we don't know where these things go, to include Flo's possibly a video of a drum solo, maybe in the exhibition. And Flo emailed back himself relatively quickly and said, it would be great, it would be an honor for me to have my work seen as art and included in an exhibition of contemporary art. And furthermore, I find that interesting because I already was involved in an art project. And he went on to say in his email, maybe you've heard of an artist named Matthew Barney. And Camilla and I were, yes, we've heard of Matthew Barney. He said, I performed with Matthew Barney at the Guggenheim Museum during his exhibition there, and I'm really excited about having my work seen in the context of art, of contemporary art. So then, even furthermore, he was quite excited about it that he came down and performed. So I think. Again, we were talking certain types of bands, or what we call musical artists. I tend to make a distinguish between sort of pop music industry and musical artists. I think a band like Cryptopsy or Sun O, their work is, of course, I'm sure they want the best record deal possible, and I'm sure they would love to sell as many records as they can. But they're driven by their own inner needs and need to express themselves and communicate. So it is an art form. These are not people that are concocting a formula, in hopes of selling 1 million records. So I do distinguish between what you might call art